Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're unpacking something incredibly profound and honestly, a little bit painful. Just picture this for a second. You're sitting by a window, a middle aged observer watching the autumn leaves fall, and you're looking back at those roaring, fleeting years of your youth. What bubbles up? Is it a sense of quiet satisfaction, or is it a deep, hollow ache of something lost? Well, let's jump straight in and pull apart this incredible paradox of youth, a time we all lived through but somehow maybe never truly possessed. It hits you right away with this devastating contrast. Think about our younger selves. We had boundless energy, peak vitality, literally all the time in the world to waste. But we had absolutely no right to choose our path. Now flip that to our middle-aged reality. We finally hold the reins. We have the power, the control, the autonomy. But we're shocked to find that the very capital we need to enjoy it, that light, reckless, physical courage, is just gone. It's an absolutely brutal logical paradox. Moving right into our first major section, the tragedy of the missed feast. Imagine youth as this incredibly grand, exclusive banquet thrown entirely in our honor. The absolute tragedy is that we were somehow locked out of the venue. There's a thought here that just pierces right through you. The deepest regret in life is possessing youth, but neither realizing its existence nor truly enjoying it. Take a second to let that sink in. It's not just a personal failure, it's almost a tragic fate of human society. When we were right in the middle of that vibrant, buzzing summer of our lives, we didn't even realize we were standing in the brightest sunlight we'd ever see. So what's the root of this? That brings us to section 2, the absence of power. Why exactly were our younger selves barred from our own feast? The answer comes down to this idea of invisible restraint. Growing up, there was this suffocating, all-encompassing firewall. Society, our families, they all teamed up to build it, mostly out of good intentions, right? But in reality, this firewall completely isolated us from any true enjoyment of the world. We were kept in a carefully managed greenhouse, living more like obedient apprentices than actual, living, breathing humans.
And the way this firewall worked is honestly chilling when you look back. Our youth was totally toolified. Instead of being allowed to bloom, we were crammed into endless exams. We were reduced to just a number in a class ranking. We were trapped in this incredibly long, rigid academic pipeline. Our most radiant years were literally used as collateral for some distant, promised future. We were peaking in hormones and vitality, yet completely stripped of every single ounce of autonomy.
This takes us to section 3, the dangerous date. Why is the adult world so terrified of young people actually being free? Well, look at the massive gap between what youth wants and what adults allow. Authentic youthful freedom is all about high-density sweetness. It's wild danger, reckless trial and error, completely rebelling against the established order. It's raw and intoxicating. But adults? They force this vacuum-sealed specimen reality onto us. Sure, it's safe. It prevents irreversible harm. You're constrained and obedient. But a vacuum seal kills the very thing it preserves, turning a vibrant life into a sterile, preserved mummy.
We were all fed that same old lie, weren't we? Don't enjoy things now so you can enjoy them even more later. It's the ultimate gospel of delayed gratification. But there's a huge, fundamental flaw here. It assumes our capacity for joy stays exactly the same as we age. It completely ignores the reality that certain intense, concentrated joys can only ferment in the hot blood of a 20-year-old. By the time the later finally arrives, our bodies and minds have simply expired on their ability to taste that specific raw sweetness. Which perfectly sets up section 4, the belated awakening. Fast forward to today, we're standing firmly in middle age, and we're hit with this heavy, almost suffocating inevitability. The prerequisite for realizing youth is often losing it. It's an absolute gut punch. We grew old in safety, we matured by following the rules, and then one morning, we just look in the mirror and we finally wake up. But that very awakening is basically a eulogy for the youth we never got to have. The contrast in that mirror today is stark. Back then, we had this impulsive courage to just race down a highway in the middle of the night, or drop absolutely everything just to catch a sunset. Now, we're carrying these heavy, tired shells. The collagen is fading. We finally have the financial power to buy pretty much anything we want, but no amount of money can buy back that reckless, boundless vitality. It's a complete physical and spiritual depletion. And how do we deal with that? Let's dive into section 5, compensation and emptiness. Since that feeling is forever lost, human nature kicks in and we scramble for substitutes. Our current existence shifts from what used to be a natural overflow of vitality into this incredibly hollow state of compensatory consumption. We spend money, we chase status, we flex our power, all in a desperate, ultimately futile attempt to buy back a ghost. Deep down, we know it's just a hollow echo of what we actually crave. You can see this inner emptiness leaking out in how we mourn. We write these long, melancholic articles. We sit in dark theaters trying to vicariously squeeze out lost feelings from the young faces on the screen. And most toxic of all, we interfere with the next generation. We overplan our kids' lives, trying to completely control them, just so we can somehow vicariously possess the youth we missed out on. It's a tragic, empty cycle. It feels like life carries this incredibly heavy stick. And the cruelest part, it swings that stick the absolute hardest just at the exact moment our youth ends, delivering a blow that reminds us that some things, once missed, are just gone forever. Let me walk you through this final devastating metaphor, the allegory of the sweet date. Imagine life handed you this perfectly sweet, juicy date, your youth, but the adults locked it away in a high, restricted cabinet. So you spend years building a ladder, studying, struggling, working. Finally, you reach middle age. You climb the ladder, you open the cabinet, but the date is completely shriveled. It's dry, it's bitter. You finally earned the right to eat it, but the feast itself has turned to ash. And taking a step back, you realize this isn't just a personal failure. This is the tragic cost of human civilization itself. In our obsession with safety, order, and predictability, we systemically sacrifice our most radiant, creative, and gloriously chaotic years. We traded our brightest fire just for the guarantee of growing old safely. So as we look back through the heavy fog of the years, spotting the phantom of our younger selves, so incredibly radiant, yet so completely bewildered and boxed in by the rules, there's really only one thing left to say. So much regret. But sitting with that weight, really feeling the true cost of that lost time, makes you wonder, now that you finally hold the keys, what are you going to do with the time you have left?